गुरुर्ब्रह्मा स्वयं साक्षात् सेव्यो वन्द्यो मुमुक्षुभिः नोद्वेजनीय एवायम् तत्त्वज्ञेन विवेकिना।
Job and earning some money and settling your house. That is the only level. That is not called living. When you compare a man's living with a goal, that's what is lively is called living. Otherwise, what is it that you do on your own voluntarily planning it? So you are only existing. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to plan your eating, food, sleeping, dressing, bathing, earning money, saving money. Is it necessary to plan this? A very nominal way of planning. It automatically goes on. So that is called existence. Living means there can be any nobler purpose, a lofty ideal. I want to serve my motherland. I want to see that my motherland gets independent from the foreign yoke. I will sacrifice. Or I want to sacrifice myself, to dedicate myself to the service of the poor people. Tomorrow onwards I will do this, I will do that. That's a living. I want to see the God by sadhana, this japam, this mantra sadhana. I want to see the mother goddess. So, living with a purpose is living. Existence plus purpose is called living. Then, over and above this, existence plus purpose, when you call it living, there ought to be some methodology, some doubts must be clarified, some path should be adopted, isn't it? So, for example, the master is living. Why should he live? And there is nothing that he has to achieve. One torch wants to light up 1,000 torches. Before it is lit up, it is nothing but a bunch of cotton and oil. It is not worth it. Worth a penny. So, he has a noble purpose, he has a purpose of his own, so he lives. In this, when you come to the question of sadhana, you don't have to pay any attention on the existence part of it, your life. And pay all the attention to only living. Because existence takes care of itself. Automatically. When you are walking on the road, you don't have to pay all your attention. I said this several times. You can even drive your car, speaking to your wife. All the matters, even think of income tax matters, but yet think of the God at the same time. The inherent capability of the man is split into several levels. All these levels can simultaneously work. One at a time is not called concentration. It is like shutting the other doors with no advantage. Similarly, when you plan your life, living, I mean sadhana is nothing but living. Existence in so many ways. For example, even physical body and its health. Money earning and planned expenditure, planned saving, and a planned investment of the savings. All these things also, they don't need more than 15 minutes only once in a lifetime. Second time there is nothing to think about it. If there is a problem dogging you all the time, chasing you, it draws your attention, it takes your attention. There is a problem. It leaves you no rest. It doesn't allow you to sleep. Even then, your attention on that does not change the problem. The problem remains as such. When people think of the problem, they don't worry. When people worry about the problem, they won't think. People who worry about the problem say that they are thinking of it all the time. They are not thinking, they are only worrying. Worrying is not thinking. A man must, these are all called efficiency levels. Levels of efficiency arranged in life. That is one thing. Now when I say you invest this money, you buy this, you sell this. That is the creature part of the existence of the human being. Also I pay attention. What did you eat properly? Yes. What did you like this pudding? Why don't you eat a little more? If I don't do it, I do it. They know my mind. And they themselves are livable. In other words, I see to it that people eat well, dress well, sleep well, all these things. But how much of attention from my time do I devote? Not more than 5 minutes at a time. More than once or twice or thrice. Never more than that. 5 minutes at a time, 4 times a day, I pay attention to these things. Did you eat? Did you eat properly? Did you like it? This much of attention. The rest of it is, my attention is on the individual. Then individual means individual is with his problems, for example. Well, that's a problem. It has nothing to do with the individual again. There is a psychological relationship between him and his problem. That psychological relationship I want to break. And if that is necessary, that the psychological relationship with the problem is very necessary to solve it, I would take it over. Leaving him alone, if possible. If that psychological relationship with the problem is not going to yield any results, I would want them to forget about it. Leave the problem to its own fate. Problem has its own destiny, its own fate, it has its own problems. Death also is destined one day. That need not take a toll of the man's health, attention and all. There are far better things which are finally useful to answer. So, I say, separate yourself from the material existence, problems of material existence, material problems, without psychologically getting involved in them. And that is, suppose I say this, it may not be possible for you to detach yourself. But yet, when I say something that you attach yourself to this, the detachment is automatic. I am asking you to attach yourself to something without showing an alternative hook from which you should hang. If I say, you unhook yourself on this, they are afraid of falling down. Man wants to hang all the time. Something like that. At least there is no problem. He is worried about the absence of problems. You can think of the likely problem that might arise tomorrow or day after. If not day after tomorrow, 2 days later. It's like this. It is because he has no alternative attention. I am your alternative attention. My physical existence is to provide you an alternative and an alternate subject of attention. So that you can hang on. Some hook, I should be there. So that my presence is, to the extent that you think of me, to that extent, as much as you pay attention to me, so much is the detachment from your material problems. I want to provide that alternate subject of attention which you should pay, and thereby you detach yourself, you forget your problems. Whether I solve your problems or whether I can solve your problems is another matter. But here is an alternate hook. It's a different matter. Sometimes it so happens the problems are solved also. The reason could be not necessarily my divine power and all that. The very fact that you have detached yourself from that, your destiny left it. Your planetary positions have left the problem to itself. So there was no problem other than your planetary positions. So except your own planetary position and your jatakam, there was no problem. The moment you detach it, it's got solved. It happens like that. So I don't arrogate to myself. the capacity to solve everybody's problems, every problem of everybody. That is not how. But how do I manage to get your problem solved is I hang on these problems to the hook of God. There is another thing where my attention is all the time hooked up. It is hanging from that peg. That peg is capable of taking the burdens of the entire 14 worlds. It doesn't yield, it doesn't break. Because it is hanging in the air. A peg that is not attached to a wall, a peg that hangs in the space is strongest of all. Otherwise, the strength of a peg is depending on the strength of the peg itself or the peg of the strength of the wall. It is not so, it is not dependent. So in this process, there is something which is always superior to us, stronger than us, more capable of, much more capable than ourselves. When the solution to material problems is concerned, that is one. Secondly, it is here the purpose of living is being achieved. As I said, you are living. When you are worrying about the problems, you are not living. Every minute you are dying. Because this, according to the Upanishad also, the God of death says, the farmer grows the grain on the field. He eats it at the end of it. But he nourishes it carefully. He protects it from the birds and so many things, from the pests, from the mice, from the bandicoot, ultimately only to eat it. This protection is not to make it live forever, so that you would eat it. So I allow these human beings to grow like this. So that is my crop.
That's my grub.
My grub. By the evening, come the evening, I eat, cut it and eat. So I am God of death. Why are you like this? Why are you doing this? I am hungry, it is my business. How can you ask me about it? But do you have any sense of responsibility or kindness or grace or some consideration for the... no, why should? Where is the question of consideration? This is my grain. It is in my grain. I do this. Then what do you want me to do? Do you want me to grow like this repeatedly 4 times a year, because it's 3 months crop only, and every time go into your mouth? Is that the purpose? There is a word in the truth. All the evil forces that are troubling me, I put it in your mouth, swallow them. The question is, the God is capable. It is you are his problem, because he is employed by the Supreme Creator to take care of these jivas. So whenever they grow, again and again, birth after birth, you go on eating them. One day, since you are my representative, you are part of me, you are consuming them, will purify them. Ultimately they will come to their senses one day. What is the use of being eaten repeatedly like this? By God of death? Is there a way out of this? Is there a way I can avoid being eaten like this, swallowed by like this by the God of death? Should I not become a Mrityunjaya? Should I repeatedly be born and die, only to be consumed by the God of death? The secret is, I will go and ask the God of death how I can avoid being eaten by him. You can avoid being eaten by me by avoiding being born. So this is a conversation. In other words, we are supposed to conquer death by attaching ourselves to eternity. Eternity is a truth. Rest is all untruth. Eternity is there. God of death himself is not eternity, but the origin of his is eternity. He goes back into it. His long life is confined to the length of time that the creation exists. As long as there is a creation, he lives, he doesn't. But when the creation ceases to exist, he goes back to his origin. So he is attached to an eternity. Thereby he is not dying during the course of the existence of the creation. Similarly, when we are every day dying by being attached to the things that don't really last, which are in no way related to the individual self inside, we are supposed to detach ourselves from this. In this process, we always seek what is eternal. For example, the sun god. For example, the Gayatri Chandas. They are eternal. All that is eternal is related to us. When I tell you to think of Gayatri, I am asking you to think of eternity. That short wave, which is capable of going one round the earth in a minute, in a split second, and in a split second itself, which is capable of reaching the eternity, the cause of the center of eternity, where the ultimate Shivalokam or Brahmalokam attaches. That is one of the teachings. Thereby, the moment you think of Gayatri, what I mean to say is, you are no more part of your physical body that is dying every minute. To the extent that you are attached to that, you are detached from your body. When you think of Gayatri, you have crossed your limits of living and dying. Gayatri is one such thing. Similarly, Master is another deathless eternity, an entity. He has not died. He has stopped dying long ago. Only coming and going may be there for him. Like the character on the stage. A good actor acts dying. The moment the curtain is down, he suddenly gets up and goes and takes a cigarette for smoking. But the audience are thrilled. They are touched. They are moved with tears. Similarly, the Master may put up any show, anytime, anywhere, but he is eternity. How is the eternity? There is nothing like an individual self-existing, which is born and which is growing and which is dying, experiencing the world and after. By non-experience of the existence, by the non-experience of existence and experience of living, is eternal. Then just like Gayatri, just like the sun god, and Master is another. Constant attachment to him. You are mounted on a horse that is capable of going round the world in a trot. You never get off that aspect. On your own, if what you cannot do, by attaching to something that is capable of achieving the object, you achieve it. This is called secondary. One is primary ability, one is secondary ability. To start with, you become a secondary, you acquire a secondary ability. That is taking upon you the ability of something else by attaching yourself that way. And this way, this is called living. There is nothing like sadhana. Living is sadhana. The real essential meaning of living is stop your existing level. Don't exist like this ant or the monkey or the cat. There ought to be some difference between you and the pussy in the kitchen. Should it not be there? What else? How can you prove that you are different from it? Is it because you wear a nice three-piece suit? You speak your mother tongue? Tell its mother tongue. See, it is wearing the directions. East, west and all that is. East, west, north and south is its clothing. See, what kind of difference do you propose to acquire prove between you and the animal world when you are capable of getting it out, thinking and getting an answer. So this is eternity. Master is eternity, Gayatri is eternity, Sun God is eternity. The Brahman, that is on which the canvas on which the painting of the world is done, is eternity, not the painting necessarily. Painting is a changing thing like cinema, slides, cinematograph, projection. Everything is changing. What is not changing is the screen. It is white as white as ever, clean, as it was a love scene or a battlefield. It is not affected. There is some eternal truth behind all these things. It is on that the whole thing is played. Master is one thing. Then, what is Angusta Purusha? Coming to the further thing. I ask you to think of the Angusta Purusha. Angusta Purusha is an inch man, 1 inch sized replica of your physical body. And physical body itself is not eternal. Angusta Purusha cannot be eternal. Angusta Purusha is definitely much more capable of resisting the disease, death experience, birth experience, sorrows. He does not undergo all these things. His presence in the body makes you conscious of the body. Consciousness, where does this consciousness exist? There is an element that is known as consciousness, that is Chitta. The Angusta Purusha has what is known as a Chitta. Chitta is pervading the body. Body consciousness exists in Chitta. Its body consciousness is not in the body. Body is not experiencing itself. Chitta is experiencing the body. That Chitta exists in the body on account of the presence of the Sukshma Shariram, the subtle body, the subtle man. But that subtle man, if nobody, Nainam Chindanti Shastrani, Nainam Dhat Pavaka, it cannot be burnt. The body may be burnt when Angusta Purusha separates. But that goes out of the body and looks at the body that is being burnt, reduced to ashes. Then over a time, it forgets. This body loses its Angusta Purusha Akriti. Akriti, the form is lost. Then what exists? There is another basic core truth in this Angusta Purusha, that is the doctrine. That is, it is not the body, it is not in the reflection of the body. It is not even the consciousness of the body. It exists. It exists in all. All, not only living creatures, the charam, acharam, everything. That is there in the stars, that is in the sun, that is in the moon, that is in the earth, that is the higher lokas, in Deva, in Indra, in Brahma. That dot reflects always. It is on account of the presence of the dot, Angusta Purusha exists. So Tatsrushta Tadevan Pravishatu, after creating the whole world, he entered into it. The Creator entered. It is the presence of the Creator. Creator has no shape, has no body. He is also not having any consciousness of anything. What consciousness can he have when he is not in anything particular? When he is all. He is Indra, he is Brahma, he is Vishnu, he is Rudra, he is fire, he is water, he is the star, he is the sun, moon, earth, the sea, everything. What consciousness is to be defined therefore as an awareness attached to a particular thing which is absolutely different from anything else. If a particular thing is differentiated from the others, consciousness arises. In other words, when you are not particularly conscious of your body, you are universally conscious, universal consciousness. The phenomenon is defined as universal consciousness. Vishwatma Bhavana. Vishwatma. That Vishwatma is Parameshwara. That Paramatma is present in you as a dot. On account of the presence of Paramatma, your body's reflection is Sushma Shariram, is there. This dot is in the heart of that Sushma Shariram, and this Sushma Shariram itself is your heart center. Purusha is very clear. In the heart of all beings, there is an Angusta Purusha. Gita says it, Upanishad says it, all scriptures are saying it. In your center of your body, in the heart center, the entire body is being reflected in a small, subtle reflection. That is existing. That subtle, small body is known as Sushma Shariram or Angusta Purusha. Sushma Shariram is Angusta Purusha. Subtle body is Angusta Purusha. But that is capable of that is existing on account of the fact that there is that dot in it, inside of it, salt. The Paramatman there inside the Angusta Purusha does not experience anything. Angusta Purusha experiences everything. Sukham, Dukham and other things through consciousness. He does not really understand. If he is understanding if he is experiencing the happiness, pain and pleasure, he would also experience death. He can be burnt, he can be cut into pieces. Since he is not the experiencer, he experiences the existence of the body which he is occupying through Chitta, the consciousness. Consciousness is a medium of communication for the Angusta Purusha with the body.
Does it arise from
Chittam that is exactly, it arises when you are entering your physical body, in the mother's womb. When the Jivatma enters the human body, a Jivatma cannot be separated from Paramatma. Jivatma can exist only if there is a Paramatma. On account of the presence of Paramatma, only Jivatma exists. That Jivatma enters into it. Therefore, the presence of the Paramatma, the entry of the Jivatma into the body, and the moment he enters the body, Chitta arises, the consciousness arises. This is the mechanism of creation. But for this Chittam, you would not protect your body from hurt. You will not know what is painful to you. You may walk into the fire forgetfully. You don't know that it is burning you. Suddenly you avoid it. So the hunger, thirst, sleep, protection from all destructive forces like heat and cold, from fire and water, trying to protect the breath all the time. These are the properties of Chitta. So the creation is depending on the Chitta. The species are living. But for this consciousness, nothing works. Who is hungry? The body is hungry. But who tells you to eat? Body does not ask you to eat. Chitta. Body is only hungry. Is the body telling you to eat? Immediately your mind is, you call it mind. Mind is the outer periphery of the Chitta. So, this awareness is known as sadhana. Awareness is living. Achieving the purpose is so-called sadhana. Awareness, because with a purpose when we live, it's called living. The process of achieving it, the goal, achieving the goal is called sadhana or tapas. That is concentration on this eternal Angusta Purusha with eternity in it. This is only longer lasting. This Angusta Purusha. Hriddeshe Arjuna Tishtati. Angusta Purusha. Arjuna, in the Hriddesham, in the region of the heart, there is an Angusta Purusha that indwells. He is the indweller of the body. He is there. He cannot be burnt. He cannot be killed. He cannot be cut to pieces. Body can be cut to pieces. Angusta Purusha, totally unhurt, he leaves the body. When the body is destroyed by disease, by an accident, by hurt, the Angusta Purusha leaves the body unhurt. He goes. Over a time he forgets. The memory of this body is forgotten. He remains only a Deepasika in which the dot is there. A Deepasika is a non-particular Jivatma. Jivatma attached to a particular body is Paramatma, is Manusha. Jivatma can be there without a body, non-particular state, forgetting the divide of the memories of the body, and that dot in that Paramatma, that Jivatma, as in, whether it is in the shape of the Angusta Purusha or just a Dipasika, the dot is the Paramatma. So the Angusta Purusha is a Jnani, he is the Jnani. He is the man who is to be redeemed from this rebirth. He has to think of his redemption. Your body and your mind do not do any sadhana. Bodies cannot do any deep tapas. When people say he stood in the midst of fire for 1,000 years, he stood on one foot and did sadhana. In other words, the tapas was done by this Angusta Purusha inside, commanding the body. Now, three things. When I said Gayatri, it is something eternal. When I say it is Sun, eternity. When it is Master, is eternity. The Angusta Purusha is longer lasting, unhurt part of the hurt body. Unhurt part of the hurt body. And in that is eternity itself. That dot. So that dot has no dimensions. Angusta Purusha has dimensions. Angusta Purusha has dimensions. The dot has no dimensions. Angusta Purusha is proportional to your body. If you are a very tall man, Angusta Purusha may be 1 inch of yours. Your thumb is longer than my thumb. If I am 5 feet and if you are 6 feet. Just a proportion. There can be dimensions for the Angusta Purusha but not to the dot. That dot is the essence of living. That is essence and it is the goal of it. When you know this much, the secret is known to you. All that you have to do, there is nothing more to do, nothing else to do than to remember that. When you remember that, your existence is detached from you. You are already living. Already the goal is in your consciousness and the mind and all that. Your subject of attention is that eternity, that dot. It's a very, very simple. It does not need any elaboration. Basic things. And any amount of elaboration is only about it. You can speak about anything. About the mango tree, you can write 2,500 pages. Mango tree is a very simple thing, is available to you. You can go and touch it. Sit on its branch, take its fruit. Just speaking about it, complexities arise. But remember one thing. All the time remembering it is one thing. And then when I say there is nothing like a special sadhana sitting for an hour or two, that is not the thing. Remembering it all the time is sadhana. So when I say there is no sadhana, it is in this context. What is the use of sitting 1 hour and forgetting 23 hours? All about it. When you can do this, you can attend to all the bodily responsibilities, whether in the office, home or taking care of the body. This can be done all the time. And when you are attached to this, your attention is on this, there is an automatic detachment from all that is material. The degree of attention that is required to solve the material problems of living or existence is very little. They get automatically solved. That Paramatman is also responsible for the material welfare and material destruction, suffering and happiness. All things are in it. When a man seeks protection from that, even material life is protected from that. So that is sadhana. And many people may think, yes, there is a master, there is no sadhana necessary. Attention on the master is also, as I said.
Yes, that is the sadhana.
Because when you are thinking of the Angusta Purusha, you cannot think of him without the dot in him. So, although the Angusta Purusha is a replica of his physical body, in it the dot is there. So, where the Angusta Purusha is a realized soul who is always present in the company of that dot inside of him, your attention on him is transferred to that permanent eternity. So there, when you think of even the physical form of the master, just because the same phenomenon exists when you think of Mahalakshmi or Vishnu or Subramanyeshwara or Ganapati, are you not paying attention only to the external form of it? What else are you seeing in him? Are you seeing the Brahman in Ganesha? Are you seeing the Nirguna Brahman in Subramanya? You are only seeing the form of it. That form is linked to the eternity. Therefore you are linked to the eternal force that is sustaining the whole universe. Thereby, it is an indirect relationship or direct relationship in a sense. Ultimately, all the time, think of this. And when you think of this, even if you think of the Master sitting in your posture, meditation, what do you meditate upon? Meditation is the concentrated attention. Attention is the routine part of it. All the time it should be there. When you meditate, concentrated attention is meditation. But even in normal existence, attention should never be broken. It is always there. Because it does not interfere with your material living activity. It goes on. What else is it?
Attention, unbroken attention.
And when the Master may bring a few people with him, but remember one thing, they have some job unfinished. So, if they are made aware of the achievement they have already
Just accomplished.
got earlier, it can make them only complacent. Anyway, somebody who is attached to the Master, or anyone who is attached to the Master, in this aspect of attention, in this manner, has always already achieved something. He has covered a long, long distance. They are probably finishing their journey, or at the start of the journey. For that reason, the very fact that they pay their attention, they are attached to the Master, it goes without saying. They have covered a long path.
This is not possible.
Huh?
Otherwise, this is not possible.
Not possible. Therefore, it does not, when there is a lack of confidence in themselves, they should be reminded about the path covered. When there is complacency, they must be reminded about the yet to be achieved path. Both are. Glass is half full, half empty. We say, to give confidence to you, I would say your life is, glass is half full. What do you say? Half empty. When you have to achieve something, I would say it is half empty. Way of reminding them. So then, normally, a few people at the end of their journey become necessary as assistants. But the Master, he has to depend on them for his physical, material, communication, service. These things are present. I can't depend on a person who has no belief in me, who is not attached to me. How can he serve the others unless they are attached to me? Is it not their attachment to me that makes them serve? They are not attached to the society, not attached to anyone. Their attachment to me makes them serve the others.
Yes.
So that is, in a way, their path is nearly more than 90% covered.
Over.
So if they are finished products, they would be elsewhere somewhere.
Yes.
Not necessarily attached and physically close. Not necessarily, they would be. But even there, they are running their end. They do that because it is self-fulfillment is one thing. And ability to know and judge what is necessary, what is to be done for the others is another. So self-realization is one thing. Master is at a different level. It is like a healthy doctor. He is himself quite healthy. He also knows what is necessary for the others to give them good health. So the necessity of knowing what is good for the other, to talk for the other, what to say, what not to say, how to judge. That's a very, very big subject by itself. All self-realized men do not know what is good for